What is the syntax? How do I write the query to create the table? So how do we write this insert query? Please listen to me. I have to write the keyword that is insert. Null is a keyword. Now it is treated as a value. We have three clauses: select clause, from clause, where clause. Distinct in the sense, so whatever the name of the owners that I have, I don't want the repetitions. I just want the data which is unique. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the third session on Mysql revision tour. Guys, what is that I will be discussing in today's session? Probably you will be surprised why sir is repeating the same thing. Yes guys, I will be discussing the different queries that we have in SQL, especially in MySQL. I have done all these queries exactly that in the revision tour, what we have done in the SQL revision tour, but we have the same queries in your chapter. That's the reason I'm doing it again for all of you. So let me start with the first one. What is that I have? I have create query. How do I create the table? So basically I have to create the table inside the database before I store the data. Yes or no? Yes, exactly. Then what is the syntax? How do I write the query to create the table? So let us understand that in detail. Let's start. Imagine I want to create the table something like this. So how do I write the query for that? So let's start. So let's write the table. So my table will look something like this, right? So I have 4 columns. How many columns I have? 4 columns. Let's name this table as student. Let's name this table as student. So I have serial number as a first column name. Serial number as a first column name, and then again I have name as a second column name, age, and then phone number. So guys, I have total 4 columns in my table, and I have named this table as student. So this is how I want some table inside the database. How do I create the table? So what is the syntax for this? Let us understand that. So whenever I want to create any table, I have to use the query, or I have to use a keyword called create. I have to use a keyword called create. Please understand that. That is the first point that you should remember. So fine, all of you know that. So let me start without dragging much. So I have to use the keyword called create. Then what is that you're trying to create? I'm trying to create the table. So again, you have to write the keyword that is table. Please understand, I'm using a word called keyword. So this is also keyword, create is also keyword. What is the name of the table that I want? I want the name of the table as student. So I should write student. What is the name of the table that I have? Student. So please understand. So keyword create, table, student. Student is the name of the table that I have here. So then after that, what is that I have? So I have 4 columns. How do I create that? Please understand. So look here, I have to open the parenthesis. I have to open the parenthesis. Please observe that is the syntax. Open the parenthesis. What is the first column that I have? Serial number. Write the name of the column. So serial number. So fine, I have written. So what type of data that you are trying to store in this column is what you have to mention. That is what I will call it as a data type. That is what I will call it as a data type. Please understand that. So let me just consider varchar in general. Let me just consider varchar. So inside this, I have to specify the size. I have to specify the size. Generally, I'll just give 30 here. So fine. This is all about the first column. Is it the only column, only one column that I have in the table? No, I have more than one column, that is 4 columns. How do I create now? So I will just use comma separator. Please remember this. I will use comma separator. Then after that, what is the name of this column? The name of the column is name. So how do I write it? I'll just write name. Then after that, I have to give space. Please remember that. Then I have to write the data type. I have to use different data types, but as of now, I'm just using varchar. Please remember that. So I have to write the size here again. So comma. Then again, what is the name of the next column? So I have age, right? I will write the data type. Again, what is the next column? Phone number. Again, I'll write the data type. Then after that, I will close this parenthesis and I will give this semicolon and press enter. This query will help you to create the table. This is how you will be creating the table. That's what you have to understand. This is the general syntax that I have given. That is what you need to understand. And I have given a simple query like, how do you create the table. Don't worry about this primary key, not null, check, all these things. I have already done this in the revision section, but right now please ignore this. I will discuss that in detail in the coming sessions, right? So just concentrate, how do you create the table? So hope you have got the clear idea that how do you create the table. So moving on to the next slide, what do I have? I have insert command, right? You have created this table. So how do I insert the values to this table? That is what we need to check, right? So for that, we have to use this insert query. So how do we write this insert query? Please listen to me. I have to write the keyword that is insert. Then after that, where do you insert? Insert into, you have to write the name of the table. Because in a database, I will have multiple tables. That is the reason I have to specify the table name. So I have to write insert into table name. That is the most important thing that you should remember. Then after that, followed by, you have to specify the column list. Please observe here. I have written insert into EMP is the name of the table that I have considered. Then after that, inside that EMP table, I have these many columns. I have EMP number, e-name, sex, salary, department number, all these columns I have inside the table. Sir, why are you giving like this? Please understand, suppose if I want to select the particular column, I don't want to insert the values for all the columns. I wanted to select the particular columns and then I have to insert the data to that particular column. I have to give like this. Otherwise, we have different method. We will be using that method. I'll discuss about that, right? So as of now, you need to understand like that. So to which column you need to insert the value, so that you have to specify. So after that, you have to give this within the parenthesis. Followed by that, you have to use a keyword called values. And then, so this value should match with the column name. So whatever the first value that you have given, so that will be stored in this EMP number. Second value will be stored in e-name. So like that, this value should match to column name. That is what you have to understand. So one more important thing that you have to remember, suppose if the number of values that you have given and the number of columns that I have given, so should match. Suppose if it is not matching, you will end up with an error. So that is one more thing that you should remember whenever you are inserting. That's what you have to remember. One more important point, whenever you are using character or string, you should enclose it with the quotes. Only character and string. So here I am entering 1001. So it's a number. So I'm not enclosing with the quotes here. There is no quotes. But when it comes to Ravi, I have a quotes. After each and every value, I have a comma. So please listen and understand these important small things, because even if you make a single mistake, so you will end up in not executing the query. So this is how I will be inserting the values inside the table. So what is the next one that I have? Please understand, I have a select query. You have created the table, you have inserted the data, and how do I retrieve the data from the table? That is what, it's a very important thing. So you have done everything. Why you have done? Just to retrieve the data, and you have to perform your own task, right? So that is the important thing that you should understand. Your brain should work here. So this is most important part of SQL. So guys, I have select. So as soon as I say the word select, you should remember three things. The first one is select. What is the first one? Select clause. The second one is from. Okay. The third one is where. So how many clauses we have? We have three clauses: select clause, from clause, where clause. So you need to understand one thing, this where clause is optional. This where clause is optional. When it comes to select, when it comes to this select, so you have to specify what is that you are selecting. You have to specify what is that you are selecting. What is the meaning of it, sir? You have to specify which column you are selecting. Only the column name you can mention here. I mean to say that you can select the columns. You can select the columns. I will speak about that in detail now. Listen to me carefully. Imagine I have 4 columns in my table. How many columns I have? 4 columns in my table, right? I want to select only 2 columns. For example, serial number, comma, age. I just wanted to select only 2 columns. I just wanted to select only 2 columns. Listen here, that is what we have given. Here I have used a keyword called select. Then after that, column list. What is that I have to select? That is what I have given. Please understand that. So fine, I have given the keyword that is select, and then serial number, age I have given. From where you are trying to select, you have to mention the name of the table. You have to mention the name of the table. That is very, very important, right? So I will just write student is the name of the table. What is that? Student is the name of the table. So that's it. I don't have any condition. So I will close the query like this with the semicolon. What will happen if I execute this query? So I will be selecting all the data, whatever I have in the serial number as well as in the age from the table student. That is what you have to understand. Suppose you are selecting all the data from the column, whatever you have, but I have not specified. I just wanted to select the students whose age is greater than 18. That is the condition that I have. I want to see the students whose age is greater than 18. I want only that students. How do I give that? So for that, listen to me carefully. I have a special clause called where clause, where you can give all your conditions. If you want to give any conditions with respect to the rows, here you are dealing with columns. Please understand that. But here you are dealing with rows. You are dealing with rows. Whatever the conditions that you want to give, so you will be giving in the where clause. So here I will be writing where age is greater than 18. So this is the condition that you have to remember, and I have given the semicolon here. I'll just remove it. So this will be your query. This is how you will be using this select query to select the data from the table. How many clauses we have? We have 3 clauses. So that's all about the select, but I can use the select in a different way, which I'll be explaining with the different options. So I have something called star. I have something called star. How do we use that? Why do we use that? So if I just use select star from EMP, EMP is what here? EMP is what here? Can you all tell me? EMP is the name of the table. EMP is the name of the table, right? So if I use star, instead of writing the column name, I will just use star. So what is the meaning of star? Star in the sense it will select all the columns. It will select all the columns. That is the meaning of the star. So this query will help me to select the complete table. If I use star, the meaning of the star, please understand, the meaning of this star, it will select the complete table. That is what you have to understand. So moving on to the next one, selecting a particular row. Selecting a particular row. I have already discussed this where clause. If I want to select particular row, I will be using this where clause with a condition. So please understand this. So what is that they have given? Select star from EMP. Select star from EMP. Star in the sense you have to remember all the columns. Whatever the columns that I have. Listen here carefully. I have this table, right? So I have 4 columns. Okay. So star in the sense all these columns. I will select all these columns, but I don't want all the rows. I don't want all the rows. For that, I am giving a condition. What is that? 6 is equal to m. So those who has got the gender as m, so only that particular rows it will select. Only that particular rows it will select. So this is one of the things that you have to remember. Moving on to the next one. Selecting a particular column, which we have already discussed. Look here, select. I am just writing e name, comma, sal. I'm just selecting only 2 columns from EMP. That is what you have to understand. What is EMP? EMP is a table name. This is table name. This is column name. This is also column name. How many columns we are selecting? We are selecting 2 columns. What we are selecting? The complete data what we have in the entire 2 columns we are trying to select. That's it. So that's what you have to understand. Moving on to the next one, distinct. So guys, we have distinct keyword. Why do we have this distinct keyword? So how do we use this? Please understand. I have written select distinct. So please understand, select distinct. So what is the meaning of it? Distinct owner. What is meaning of owner, sir? Owner is the name of the column, sir. Owner is the name of the column. So from the table name, this is table name. This is column name. Okay, this is keyword. So please understand that. So guys, this is keyword. Again, this is also keyword which I don't have to explain for all of you. Right? So this is a keyword, this is a column name, this is a table name. So but I am using something called distinct. So why should I use distinct? Can you all tell me? Right? So distinct, my dear students, distinct in the sense, so whatever the name of the owners that I have, I don't want the repetitions. I just want the data which is unique. What is the meaning of it? Suppose I'm storing the name of the owners like in a pet table. So I have dog, I have cat, I have so many pets I have. Okay, different breeds of dogs I have. So my name is repeated thrice, but I don't want to see the name which is repeated. I just want my name to be present only one time. So for that reason, I am using the keyword that is distinct. That is what you have to understand. To avoid the duplicate values, I am using a keyword called distinct. So moving on to the next one. What is the next one that I have? Viewing the structure of the table. What is the meaning? Viewing the structure of the table. Please understand that I have something called student. I have something called student. Okay. So fine. I have a table called student. What is the name of the table? Student. Right. So how many columns I have? I have 4 columns. So the first column name is serial number. Second column name is student name. Third column name is age. Fourth column name is phone number. This is the table, but please understand, I am speaking with respect to structure of the table. Structure of the table in the sense, how many columns you have, what type of data type you can store inside the table. That is what I will call it as structure. And in what order you have the columns. So all those informations I can view only with the help of table description. That is what I will call it as a describe table. That is what I will call it as a describe table. So guys, what is that you will write? So DES, you will write student. DES, you will write student. So what is the meaning of it? Student is a name of the table. Student is a name of the table. So you will use a keyword called DES and you will write the name of the table. You can also use describe. You can also use a keyword that is describe. You don't have to use DES. You can also use describe. But if you are finding it too lengthy, you can just type DES and followed by table name. So it will give you the complete information about the structure of the table. So that's all about the describing structure. So the next one is column aliases. What is the meaning of it? So you're just renaming the column. You're just renaming the column. So how do I do that? With the help of the keyword that is as. With the help of the keyword that is as. What is the example, sir? Please understand this. Here I have the syntax that is select. I have given the column name. So the original column name I have given, I am just writing it as, I am using the operator as, and the new column name I am giving. Please understand, select old column name as new column name. Then after that, if you want more than one column like that, you can give. Then after that, from table name you can give. So let's see the query, how exactly it looks. Look here, I am writing select. What is the column name here? Date. What is the column name? Date. What is the second column name here? Type. You want to retrieve the second column name type as event type. You want to retrieve the second column name. Instead of type, you are retrieving, you are changing it as event type. But remember, in the structure of the table, it will be type only. when you're retrieving the result, it will show you as event type. That's what you have to understand. So this is how the column alias will work for all of you. Moving on to the next one. I have between. This is one of the keyword that you should remember. It's very, very important. Okay. So how exactly this between is working? How exactly this between is working? Please understand that. Right, I have select keyword. I am trying to select the employee number from employee table where, please understand, sal is a column name between salary, whatever the value that I have entered inside the column, that is sal, that value should be between 90,000 and I'm using logical operator, that is and 1 lakh. So only select this employee number whose salary is between 90,000 and 1 lakh. Ooh, what a nice salary. Yes. Okay, guys. So this is how you will be using this between. Between is also a keyword, right? So moving on to the next one. So guys, what is the next one that I have? Condition based on list. So please understand how exactly this in is working. So I have something called in, right? I have something called in. What exactly this in is? Select star in the sense all the column from members, the table name is members, where city in, I have many cities, but I don't want to select everything. I have only these people. I want to see the information of all the people in this table. Those are from these cities. I want to see. I don't want anybody else. I have 25 cities. I don't want to see all those cities, but I want the data of the people. Those are from these cities. So that's how in is working. Opposite to that, not in is working. That's what you have to understand. So moving on to the next one, pattern. This is very, very interesting. So how exactly this pattern is working? Please understand this. Suppose if I ask you to retrieve the student name whose name starts from A. Rest everything, no, whatever you have after A, I don't mind actually. So, but the starting letter should be A. Then how do I write the query for that? So please understand that. So for that, what you will be doing is, so you will be using a like operator. Followed by, so guys, your pattern will be something like this: A followed by percentage. The first character should be A followed by percentage, and it can be anything. So please understand that. Suppose I want the second character should be A. The first character, it can be anything, and after second character, from the third character, it can be anything, but the second character should be A. Then how do I retrieve? Please understand. So I will use underscore A percentage. I'll use underscore A percentage. Underscore will be treated as one character. Suppose I want third character should be A. First two character, it can be anything, and rest it can be anything. How do you write? So I will write underscore A percentage. So I want the A to be in middle. Starting it can be anything, ending it can be anything. How do you write? So I will write percentage A percentage. This is how I will be writing. So please understand that. So that's how I'll be using this pattern selection in the where clause. This is how you will be giving with the help of this like keyword. That's all about the pattern selection. I have explained this in detail in the revision tour also, in the SQL revision tour also. So moving on to the next one, I have searching for null. This is the last slide for all of you. So guys, how exactly this is working, please understand. So I'll be writing select employee number, ename from employee table, where my condition department number is null. Null is a keyword. Also it is treated as a value, right? Please understand that. This is how I'll be using the null keyword. Department number is null. I can also use not null. Is it? Come on, guys. So hope I have given you the enough knowledge with respect to the SQL queries in detail according to your chapter. So this is how you have in the textbook. Okay, I'm redoing it again because since I'm dealing with this chapter, how exactly that I have in the textbook. So that's why I'm doing it again. So I'm just following the textbook. You should not create any confusion for all of you. That's the reason I'm doing it again, though the topic is repeated again. So by saying this, I say thank you to all of you. Please take care of your health and take care of your family. Respect your parents. Thank you, everybody, once again. Bye bye.